Hello everyone, Perse7 back with more Bloons TD Battles 2. And so this was a game I played a bit of a while ago, back when the season very first started, against a top 75% Hall of Masters player. So yeah, I guess it was just seeing, this was when Churchill was kind of new. Also a new strat I'm trying out, Boat Ninja Alk, which I don't really use it too much. It was mainly a strat that was just kind of I made for, in ports. That new map in ZOMG Superdome and Hall of Masters. I never got to actually play the strategy on ports yet, so I don't really know if it's any good or not. It probably is, I guess, semi-decent, but I can't expect anything too impressive from this. So this is one of the first few games I actually played with Churchill in a public match, and if I'm going to be honest, I don't really think Churchill is honestly all that good, He's too expensive to really be like fully utilized, early game. Of course, he levels incredibly slow with that, number one. Number two, I don't really feel like he helps a lot against, mid-game rushes. In like a lot of games, I played using Churchill, he can't even break the Moab shell, like just a regular Moab shell, and that, that's like terrible. I think maybe on like longer maps he can, but I did use him on Cent times, and he didn't even break the Moab shell, like, by himself, which is a bit disappointing, seeing that, Churchill's main thing is that, he's a DPS powerhouse, and he doesn't really feel like he is very good at that, and I guess that's kind of going to be an issue for a lot of heroes whose main niche is, straight up DPS, as I feel like utility heroes are always going to be better. But, I guess it's just like a kind of a problem of, heroes needing a massive rework more than, this kind of heroes in general. So, yeah, it's kind of the same problem with, like Quincy, him being pure DPS isn't very useful. As, again, utility heroes like, Gwendolyn would be so much better, as, since they can buff other towers. But, that's just kind of my personal opinion. I just don't really feel like Churchill really helps out too much for really any stage of the game. As Mo Barrage is pretty, I guess, solid, but I don't think it can break an entire ZOMG shell by itself, and so it is just kind of a So anyways, returning to the match at hand, this guy's going Boomer and Glue. So when I saw that, I pretty much knew that his last tower was going to be like something like Village, Sub, or Wizard, because he does need some form of decamo, as none of his towers can see camo naturally. Except for Glaive Lore, but good luck footing Glaive Lore by round 12, especially if your opponent's actually like trying against you. And so it's kind of interesting, is that I've never actually encountered too many players who actually use Glue. As I've heard that Glue is actually a pretty amazing tower. I just haven't actually used it yet, simply just because I have to grind XP for that, and I kind of don't really want to do that at the current moment. So yeah, there's just kind of that. So anyways, you can see here I'm starting to set up my merchantmen slash my merchantmen army. Haven't unlocked Trade Empire yet, although I did unlock Favored Trades, so I guess there's that to merit. So we put our Churchills in the same spot, of course, using fully utilizing Churchill's Pierce to, I guess, just it's to our advantage. And I don't really feel like Churchill really helped out too much with the strategy. I think something like Oben would be definitely a lot better, because he would give +1 Pierce to ninjas, and so that would be, I guess that'd be decent for early game. Of course, the trees is also pretty good. So I was skeptical of whether I should actually go for Merchantman like immediately, seeing as I do have to get defense for round 11. That is coming up soon, but I figured that it'd probably be fine, since I do have Alchemist. All I really need is just like a 3/0/0 and I'd be good. When this game first came out, I honestly kind of assumed that like Alchemist would probably be one of the best towers in the game, simply just because the increased attack speed and damage pierce from just Alchemist, I thought would be enough to like have it just be meta. And Transforming Tonic and TT5 also is some pretty good damage, although you do need like druids and shinobis to fully like utilize that. Although I guess without it, it's by itself is still pretty decent, although I haven't used it in Battles 2. I don't even have it unlocked yet, so I'm not really sure how good it is in this game. But in BTD6 it is pretty decent. So he's relying on Churchill for his main, I guess, like defense right now. Glue is slowing everything down, and Churchill is easily soloing the earlier rounds, which is pretty good in my opinion. So hopefully like Sentai Churchill would be better with his laser shock, although I'm not too optimistic about it. So yeah. I was debating whether or not I should actually send this guy regen zebras or purples, but you know, I figured that glue could glue's probably like strong enough to like negate that rush entirely. Especially since, you know, that gives a lot of time for Churchill to, I guess, shoot down that straight line. I'm honestly surprised he didn't send anything at me, because I'm not really sure if 2 cannon chips under 1 alchemist is enough to defend, you know, round round 13 or round 11 rushes. But hey, you know, I guess it's a good thing he didn't rush me. That does allow me to build up my merchantman army even further. Hopefully once I unlock Trade Empire, it does get a lot better, but at the current moment, you know, the boat is definitely probably one of the worst, or if not like the worst form of alt eco. A lot of players have said that merchantmen should actually give eco instead of, you know, just straight up money. I actually do like fully agree with that. You know, it does provide, I guess, some decent early game defense, but you know, like, you're gonna usually want, like, you don't have a ton of space unless you're going for like docks as a map to actually like fully utilize a merchantman army. And who knows, maybe in the future, you know, NK will release a map that doesn't have water. In case you haven't noticed or didn't know, every map in the game does have some water in it, which I think is pretty nice, seeing as, you know, players now don't have to, I guess, you know, it is kind of a good thing since, you know, grinding XP right now, even though casual mode is still here, it still does take a while to fully max out a singular tower. So there's that. So like, yeah, it does take a while. Every map in this game does have water, so I guess people who do want to use water-based towers, and that's pretty nice. I would like, you know, I guess just kind of more than like 2 water-based towers. I don't really feel like adding water on every map is kind of wasteful, seeing as there's only 2 towers in the game that can actually be placed on water. So yeah. So anyways, I send this guy a Moab just to force him to get some Moab defense. So I guess he notices that and just gets a Moab press preemptively. And so this is actually a net positive for me. He spent more money on the defense than I did on the actual rush. So, you know, you always want to force your opponent to like upgrade their towers. Especially, you know, if it's just like one singular Moab, because more than likely you can force them to spend more money than they actually need to defend. So that's actually pretty good. And I also haven't made him drop a second boomer, so he didn't die here. So I was having a huge life advantage right here, you know, 150 to 45 lives. So really just hoping that I can actually hopefully keep this streak up. So at this point I stopped ecoing because I figured, you know, I made so much money per round, or usually at the end of the round, as, you know, 2 flavor trades actually do give 2,000. They give 1,000 at the end of each round, which is fairly enough, and it's way more than I actually need to be able to afford another merchantman. So I can afford another merchantman at the end of every round, which is, you know, pretty nice actually. And I think at this point we both figured we're going late game, so he actually gets a monkey town, which is fairly late. You know, seeing as he only has like, what, realistically only 7 rounds of, you know, monkey town like income boost, which, you know, isn't like bad or anything, but it is just kind of, I'm wondering, you know, if how much that would actually like make a profit of. And I'm honestly kind of surprised he hasn't sent anything at me yet. You know, he could probably send like maybe a BFB and force me to get monkey pirates. That would definitely be something I would need to do just in case if he decided to send one. So yeah, it's kind of weird he didn't actually send anything at me. So I do get some rubber golds, even though, you know, it's rubber gold isn't a very good farm, just like not at all. The gold potion is thrown way too slow to like be an actual like viable farming option, you know. And of course, you know, I don't really think rubber to gold is supposed to be like your main farming option, but I do feel like, you know, rubber to gold could be similar to Bloon Trap, you know, have it so where, you know, just like having it to where, you know, it's like a pain to like actually feed your opponent eco, and you know that would counter most eco strategies. Unfortunately, you know, alt eco is so popular at the moment, as pure eco is honestly just quite bad, so I guess it wouldn't really matter too much. This guy starts sending purples, which is very curious, as purples are technically they do make more money than pinks, but only if you're going like very late game. Purples purples are very expensive to send, and I think they take like 4 minutes to pay themselves off, and you do need like 3.2k eco to actually fully in order to fully be able to constantly keep sending this guy. So he almost died to fortified cerams there. I'm not even sure if you noticed that, but under the ZOMG he had to get a more glaives and boost so he didn't die to the fortified cerams. I found that actually quite funny. I sent this guy a ZOMG just because, to have him force him to do something. Hopefully to have him sell the village there. So of course it's round 24 and I'm just kind of preparing my shinobis and my sticky bomb. Hopefully one sticky bomb is enough to hold off a few DDTs. And so it's kind of insane, like, you know, this guy is like heavily utilizing, you know, Churchill just as like kind of his main DPS, and like having boomers to stall everything. And so as you can see, you know, boomers being completely overpowered and just like absolutely, like 3 of them is infinitely stalling his OMG, which is actually quite funny. You see, you definitely can't do this in BTD6. Well, I guess if it would, it'd be incredibly overpowered. So anyways, I'm just kind of preparing. I end up getting my sabotage and my sticky bomb. I was considering getting 2, as I wasn't really sure how good sticky bomb was going to be against like DDTs, especially, you know, fortified DDTs. I imagine were going to be a bit of an issue, so just like getting multiple just in case. Also just in case mobs from the natural AI rounds get pretty far, but they shouldn't be too bad. Now this guy uses his turbocharge ability in order to actually to defend that last wave. But unfortunately he has super glue, so I figured that, you know, it probably wasn't even worth it. I saw him upgrade to Relentless, I was like, you know what, it's not worth it to just send him. He still gets it anyways, even though I wasn't really planning on sending him any. But I guess, you know, hey, congrats to him for getting super glue. So I guess super glue, it's probably just Icicle Impale 2.0, but it's not bugged. So I guess if you want an alternative to Impale that isn't bugged, you can just get super glue. So now at this point, the only thing I have to worry about is bats. This guy's continuing to purple eco, so I guess he also assumed that we were going to go pretty late as well. So I think, you know, we both know what's definitely happening. Although I think he lost money by sending, you know, purple eco, as again, I think it takes around it's like 4 minutes to like pay itself off. It's somewhere around there, and, you know, I don't really think it was kind of worth sending. I do think he probably could have sent, you know, grouped DDTs at me. I think that definitely would have screwed me over. As you know, I'm not really sure if 2 sticky bombs was going to be able to, like, keep up with that. Seeing as, you know, sticky bomb doesn't have infinite range, but master bomber does. So I think that's the main, I guess, kind of reason why I wasn't able to defend. It's not because it won't do enough damage, but although, you know, with how strong ramping is, I feel like sticky bomb at this point won't even come close to one-shotting DDTs. So it's round 29, and I think we both know what's actually happening. He ends up selling his village down at the bottom, because I think he knows that, you know, oh yeah, we're definitely going to be sending each other's bads next round, fortified bads next round. This guy's bad defense isn't really too amazing. All of his defense is put towards stalling and not actually like popping the bad. So I was feeling pretty confident, especially since I do have the Master Bomber unlocked. It did take a while to actually unlock it, so I guess there's one advantage I have. Although unfortunately there's not really a lot of space in order to like put 10 shinobis around Master Bomber, although I did have a fair amount, so I was hoping that, you know, maybe with Master Bomber he wasn't actually going to send bad at my. So I don't really focus on sending him a bad, even though I probably should have gotten it, as he sends me a bad, which is not a very good thing to me. So I just end up selling some towers, as I don't really need anymore. So I send a bad at him because he doesn't have any good bad defense, although Master Bomber is the only bad defense I have, and with how strong ramping is, I'm not even sure if Master Bomber is going to be strong enough in order to actually beat the bad. So screen darker because of the new bloom boost from the new season. To be honest, I don't really like it. Kind of the darkening the screen, I just feel like is maybe a bit too much, as it does become hard to see. I guess that's what NK was trying to go for, but I don't really think you should like gain a slight advantage due to boosts or whatever. So I guess there's that. So I end up getting another sticky bomb as well, because in BTD6 you can get a Master Bomber and sticky bomb, both of them stack on the same target. So I was hoping that that itself would be more than enough in order to beat it. So on the other time side, he actually ended up getting a permacharge, which is something I didn't even notice when I first actually started when I was playing the game. Is yeah, I actually ended up getting permacharge. So he was buying and reselling in order to utilize the ability and get 100% uptime. Even doing that, he's still having a difficult time popping the bat. But unfortunately on my side, I'm also struggling against the bat, as Master Bomber still hasn't popped the bat. And so I'm just like kind of sitting here wondering, well, I thought Master Bomber was supposed to be good against the bat. This is around 30 bat, and I think that has like, what, like 12k HP? I think they lowered the initial HP for the bat. He ended up popping the bat, and I'm still over here struggling to pop the first fortified bat he sent at me. And so I guess Master Bomber is not as good as I thought against, you know, just kind of bad. So 40k upgrade and can't solo a fortified bat on round 30. It is slightly disappointing, although I guess they did nerf Master Bomber in the early stages of the game, simply just because that was when Ninja was bugged, although I don't really think Master Bomber was OP. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Also join Discord, link is down below in the description.